This is a shootout. The big thing is you have some long shots in here that could upset the way this race is run. Sovereignty looks like the horse that's going to sit back, lay second or third, and come and should eat him alive. Magnitude is equally good on numbers, but he must be on the lead. And then you have like a 50-1 shot named Bracket Buster right next to Magnitude. If he goes to the lead head-to-head with Magnitude, it just all the more sets it up for Sovereignty. And don't leave Chad Brown out. You can't leave him out of Saratoga. He's got a horse named Strategic Focus who has almost identical running style to Sovereignty, and usually in that situation it's who gets the jump on who. My vote is Sovereignty, but watch out if Magnitude gets loose on the lead early.
We got the Personal Ensign coming up on the same weekend as the Travers, and Torpedo Anna's coming in there, probably one of the most historic figures in filly racing history.
Personal Ensign was maybe the greatest filly I ever saw race in my lifetime. Shug McGahee had her. She retired undefeated. Randy Romero used to ride her, and in her last race she got up. You never thought, she looked beat the entire length of the stretch and she got up. Just a tremendous filly, and that's why this race is named after her. This is a 2-horse race. Torpedo Anna and Todd Pletcher's coming in with a filly named Leslie's Rose, who on numbers is equal to Torpedo. You know, Torpedo is doing well. This is her track. This is her race to win. But Pletcher can win this race just by maybe getting the slip on Torpedo Anna. We've seen her beaten in the past when another horse gets the slip on her and makes the move before her. And you know, Ira Ortiz in this situation is a very good rider.
We're here with Todd Pletcher. He's got a big horse in the Personal Ensign, Leslie's Rose.
She's coming into the race in good form. She's coming off a nice win in the Shoe V. She's getting a track surface that she likes today, and doesn't care for an off-going, so we're happy to have a fast track, and she seems like when the track is dry, she's very consistent, shows up with a good solid performance every time.
You don't have a horse in the Travers this year, but is this a 1-horse race, or are there at least 2 horses there that have a shot of pulling an upset?
No, I think you have to respect everyone in these type of races, and anytime you have a prohibitive favorite like that, things can happen during the race. Got a quality horse of Asmussen's who looks to be the controlling pace, so I think it creates some interesting tactics for the favorite.
The Jockey Club Gold coming up next weekend. You got Mindframe in there, and there's Rapoli put out a question to the public about should Fierceness go in there or go in the Pacific Classic.
We haven't made a final decision other than we plan to run Mindframe in the Jockey Club, but Fierceness had a very good breeze this morning, and we're strongly considering the Pacific Classic. I guess we'll see how things unfold here the next couple of days.
I already put out one video for the pre-Travers, and in it I put 3 previous interviews with D. Wayne Lucas. You're probably his best student.
Wayne's a legend forever, and he left behind quite a legacy of some strong family tree of successful people who have worked for him. I was fortunate enough to be a small part of it.
And they're off in the DraftKings Travers, and Bracket Buster flies out of the gate, and so does Magnitude. Bracket Buster, as expected, 1-2, and McAfee is moving into contention. Sovereignty is close up. He's 1 from the outside and only 2 lengths off the lead. Magnitude leads it by a length, trying to slow things down as much as possible with Bracket Buster right off his flank. The opening quarter went in 23 and 2/5 seconds. The half went in 47 and 2, and now Ben Curtis lets it out a notch, and Magnitude expands that lead to almost a length. Sovereignty has a clear path now. He's 3rd and 2.5 or 3 off the lead with less than a half mile to go. But here comes Sovereignty now. He's let loose with those big, powerful strides. Bracket Buster on the inside, and Sovereignty and Bracket Buster a long way back to Magnitude in 3rd. They're in the final furlong, and we are witnessing greatness. Sovereignty pouring it on, and for the first time since 1995 we have a Kentucky Derby, Belmont, and DraftKings Travers winner as Sovereignty rolls home to win by more than 8 lengths. Congratulations to Belmont. There's your Travers.
He knows him, he's ridden him. You know, we tried to guess who might be showing the early speed in the race, and that's all we talked about. I think that's the only conversation we had. It looked like, you know, the 1 and the 2 were the obvious horses that would go out and probably set the pace, and we'd be somewhere in behind him. And he settled into his stride and looked comfortable once he got around the first turn and down the backside, and we just, you know, when he left the 3/8 pole, he just kind of cruised up to the leaders and took over.
I mean, he was just traveling beautiful. You know, I was following the 2 horses in front, and you know, I was trying to look at how they were traveling, and you know, if I had to compare with my horse, you know, I thought my horse was actually galloping in compared to the horses in front, and you know, once we passed the half a mile pole, you know, like the 2 was taking over the lead right there, and I was following him, and like I said, I was just getting closer and closer without me asking my horse, and you know, once we turned for home, you know, give him a little bit of a haul, and you know, he was there for me, and then you know, turned for home and just powered on the stretch.
A bucket list, and one was the Met Mile, which we got that done with Cody's wish, and the one that was left was the Travers. Now the only thing we have to do is come back and try to repeat. But those are some of the most important races for me, being, you know, racing primarily in New York now. I mean, Kentucky Derby was great, but I must say, for me, I think the Travers is a great race to win, and it's very satisfying and gratifying for me to get that done.
It's unbelievable, you know, nothing like it, you know, winning. This is, for me, it's kind of like the Kentucky Derby in the summertime, you know. We always look forward for the Travers, and we have that race won to date, and like I said, I mean, it's just amazing.
You're the hometown favorite. We'll all be following you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Feels pretty daggone good.
This is it. This is
Yeah, just it's good to have it over with. I mean, you know, we thought there was a good possibility that he could win, and he did, and it's we're excited and happy and relieved.
Obviously a fantastic mare to be around. Just really proud that she pulled it out. It was a fun day, and you know, I'm glad she didn't let everybody down. But George Weaver deserves a lot of credit. His filly ran huge.
We're here today with legendary jockey Ron Turcotte, who had the wonderful historic pleasure of riding Secretariat. Ron, when did you first know, when you sat on Secretariat, what a super horse he was going to be?
Well, he was a beautiful horse as far as the looks and that. And when I rode him the first time, well, he just, I fell in love with him when just looking at him the first time. But when I got on him, and see how intelligent he was, I was looking for something great from him, because the way he moved, the way he handled, he didn't spook from anything. He was a bold horse. He was doing everything right. I loved him from the first rate.
In the Preakness, you were quoted as saying that you didn't really push the horse. He did it all on his own, and if you'd pushed him, probably could have made his time even shorter. And it appeared to be also in the Belmont, you didn't really push Secretariat either. He just wanted to go and you let him go. Is that an accurate assessment of what went on?
When I saw that they were backing up a little bit, I just took him out and just let him run around the first turn. I didn't ask him to run. I just let him run. And down the backside, I was picking the horses quite fast, but I wasn't asking him to run. I didn't ask him to run at all throughout the Preakness. I could have won by another, if I let him run through the stretch, I'd say I could have won by 10 to 15 lengths more. Because really, I wasn't, I could hear Fenke driving his horse behind me, and I was going easy.
Did Lucian Lauren ask you to try to rate the horse a little bit more for the Belmont, knowing it was a longer race and just being concerned with the fractions he was running, and you decided?
Well, Lucian Lauren never gave me orders. He just gave me a leg up and told me to use my best judgment. And that's what I was doing. And I used to play it right in the way the race came out. Like in the Derby, it was one way, and the Preakness was another way, and then the Belmont was yet another way. I knew that they were going to send Shane to try to take the lead, and I didn't want him to galloping along in the lead, so I just let him go through. After I seen everybody else fold up on their horse, I saw Pinkay going for the lead, and I let Secretariat run a ways there, but I wasn't asking him to run.
Well, part of the story, which Secretariat deserves all the credit in the world, as do you. Sham was always there as a shadow, at least for the first 2 races, and you did tell me that you highly respected Pancho Martin, so maybe a couple words about him as a trainer.
Oh, he was one of the best trainer I ever rode for. He was great. He was a great pay and everything. When he asked you to go out of town, you knew that the horse was going to run good. You know, you knew that he liked him. He thought he could win. And he tell you, well, if you don't win, I'll make up for whatever you lost in New York. So he was a very generous man.
Well, your story, Secretariat's story, and the story of all the people that were attached with that horse, it's almost like a Disney movie, which they made. Interestingly enough, though, they changed a couple of the facts to some degree. They made Pancho a little bit of a tough guy, and they also had Penny Tweedy losing the coin toss, which winning the coin toss, which you know that she lost. So the stars were aligned for her to get the breeding of Bold Ruler and something royal, and to end up with something special in Secretariat. And by losing the coin toss, she won the breedings, the best breeding that could have happened by putting those two together. And you were a major part of that. So I think the public really recognizes that and knows you for that, and thanks you for everything you've done for saving racing back in '73.
Yes, it's all started the year before. When I saw River Ridge run, I knew that there was something wrong there. So if you broke in the lead, you would take a hold of the bit and just run all the way in the lead. It went very easy, and when you broke hardly, he sucked back, eased himself back to last, and then he wouldn't go by any horse. So I stopped by the stable, and I told Lucian Arn that he had the best 2-year-old in North America. He says, well, if you're so smart, I'm going to put you on him. Show me what you can do. So I got on him in Saratoga for the first time in the flash stake, and I won. So after about 25 days of schooling him, I could do anything with him. I could put him in the inside, go to the outside, and stay a lamp on the horses, or go through in the rail. And then he went the rest of the year without a defeat. And then the rest. He was favored for the Kentucky Derby, which he won the following year, and that saved the farm and left us with Secretariat. If he didn't win all them races, he wouldn't. They couldn't keep the farm.
Now, this was Secretariat you were talking about, or Riva Ridge?
The River Ridge in 1972.
Right, because I know many people that don't follow racing closely don't realize how dear Riva Ridge was to Penny Tweedy. She thought as much and as highly of Riva Ridge as she did of Secretariat.
He was very dear to me too. I loved him, because I had a lot to do with his schooling, and riding him as a 2-year-old, 1971. And then by doing that, winning all the money, he became the richest 2-year-old of his time, and then went on and showed himself good all the way.
We thank you so much for everything you've done for the sport and for the industry, and you're a legend. And I don't know what more to say. I'm honored that you at least spent some time and gave my fans an opportunity to hear it right from the man himself.
Well, thank you very much.
How do you think Secretariat will be remembered many years from now?
He'll always be a legend, always. I mean, he's the yardstick by which all of racing is measured, and people who never, the Christmas and Easter watchers, they'll always think of Secretariat. It was one day I was standing out on the backstretch at Belmont on one of Frank Whiteley's horses, waiting to go back to the gate, and we always stood out for a long time. I'm standing out there at about the 6.5, 7/8 pole, just standing there, and here comes Ron Turcotte and Secretariat in a 1 mile workout. And he goes by me, and I watch him with that enormous, huge, long stride. And I thought, oh boy, Ronnie's going to be in trouble with Lucian because they're not going anywhere at all. This is a very key workout. They just looked like they were 2-minute licking. He worked something like 135 and change. And I mean, he was flying when he went by me, and he looked like he was just cantering. That stride was immortal.
An amazing, unbelievable performance by this miracle horse. And look at Mrs. Tweedy. She's having the time of her life. She and Lucian Lauren, who own this most magnificent animal, who has today run the most sensational Belmont stake in the history of this race. Secretariat has accomplished the unbelievable task of breaking the 1.5 mile record by 2 3/5 seconds.